Have you created the account into Red Hat after that? Uh, it does not taking up. It is not taking it up. Okay. Do you try to find out any solution? Hmm? Tried? Solution have you tried? So what is the solution you tried to find out? Hmm? Ports. Ports is not required. Ports is not an issue. You have to check at the account level only. Retry again. First try to figure out the solution. It should work actually. If not work, then let me know. Fine. So last class we talked about mostly uh, related to the models. Whatever models are there into the cloud. Okay. IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So that part is clear to everyone. Fine. So now let's proceed. Now let's proceed with the further part of the cloud. Okay. The further part of the cloud. I think now account everyone have, right? Each individual have your accounts. Let's proceed with the further thing. Okay. The next topic in this one is deployment models in cloud. Deployment models in cloud. Okay. When we talked about cloud, we talked about different flavors of cloud. It talked about different flavors of cloud, either public, private, and public. Sorry, cloud is there, and another cloud is there. Okay. That way we talk. Now, now the another cloud which is actually going to work in, that is your three clouds are there. One is public cloud, one is public cloud. Another one is private cloud, and another one is hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud. One second. Public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. First day you're coming? Your first day you're coming? Okay. So three of the clouds are there. Okay. Public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. When we talked about public cloud, when we talked about public cloud, now you have an understanding in your mindset that whichever the cloud which is publicly available, that is actually called it as public cloud. Okay. In this particular scenario, what exactly it means? Public cloud, it means the accessibility of the cloud can be from anywhere. It means it can be reached from anywhere. Whatever way of type I want to configure the networks, I can configure it. Whatever type of configuration is required at the application, that I can do it. And whatever the ease is required in this particular cloud, I can do it. That is basically a public cloud. But into the market, there are, apart from public cloud also, there are few other clouds also available over there. That is the private cloud. When we talked about private cloud, that is now getting popular into the market, which is getting very popular. And this particular cloud is famous due to some of the organization. Okay, some of the organization, what they want, they say that, okay, you bring whatever the cloud, I don't even care. You bring whatever facilities, I don't even care. I should be going and using the way I can use it. It means I won't be going and using the public cloud services because I having a risk over there. What exactly it means? Let's say in that particular scenario, when we talked about private cloud, because public we are going to talk a lot, private we won't be talk. So let's discuss that scenario first. So let's assume we are working or we are seeing an example of, let's say, Oracle Cloud. Okay, we are working an Oracle Cloud. We are working for a company called Oracle, and Oracle have a policy that they are not going to use the public cloud. Let's say, okay. So what exactly it is going to be happen? How it is going to work? So let's say this is the center of Oracle, Oracle Technologies, Oracle Technologies. Okay, it is available in Bangalore, first office. It is available in Bangalore, the first office which is available. Okay. Now after that, what happened? The another office is available, let's say, into Canada. Another office is available into California, and one office is available into Costa Rica. Fine. These are the four different location, physical location of the offices of Oracle is available. Let's say this is available in Costa Rica, this is available in California, and this is available in Canada. So let I assume it Costa Rica, I'll mention it. This is your California, California, and this is your Europe. This is your Europe. Let's make one more office. Let's say this is your Bay Area, US Bay Area. This is also there, which is very popular. Bay Area. Okay. These are the multiple different location of offices of Oracle is available. Now, when there are multiple offices are available at multiple places, then how they are going to be connected? In that particular scenario, they mostly connected with internets. They are mostly connected with the internets, internet connectivity. Everyone to each other. So this whole infrastructure, this whole combination is connected with the internet. Each of the offices. Oracle Technology Bangalore is the main branch, and main branch is communicated with the Bay Area, communicated with Costa Rica, communicated with California, communicated with Europe. Fine. Till this part clear. These are the office location. Now, now Oracle is telling that okay, we have a requirement is coming. We have a requirement coming into the market or coming into the organization where we want to develop something at the infra level. Sorry, something at the infra level. We have to develop it, and this infra level development we have to do it into our own cloud, our own cloud. So what exactly it is going to be happen in that particular scenario? Let's say software developer one is sitting in Bangalore. Software developer one, once he enter into the organization, he will try to access the cloud from the office network. From the office network. Once he enter into the office network, then he will be passing, let's say, oracle dot cloud dot com. This is he passing the parameter oracle dot cloud dot com, and from here he will start performing the action. Start performing the action on the cloud and cloud. Now let's say he worked for 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Till this much time he worked into the organization and tried to do work. Once this part or this day of work is completed, then he go into the home. Let's say he reached to his home and he tried to access. He tried to access the cloud. Here, what is going to be happen? The access part will be filled. The access part at the home is filled. Why this access got filled? Though, if you are using a public cloud, though you are using an AWS cloud, which is publicly available, that is access. That claim that it is accessible from everywhere. Broad net, one of the characteristics you read it, right? Broad connectivity, broad network access. But in the case of private cloud, why this access got filled? What was the reason? What was the reason for failure? Why it got filled? What is the reason over here? Why the connectivity which is working into the organization where you are able to access the services, but when you went to the home, at that time it got failed. What is the reason behind the failure of this connectivity? Why this connectivity got failed? Now, when I'm going at home and I'm typing at oracle.cloud.com, it is showing as this site is not reachable. When I'm using oracle.cloud.com, the internal cloud one, it is showing me the site is not reachable. What is the reason behind it? Why the site is not reachable? Hmm? As of now, there is no IP address is allocated. Huh? No, no access gateway. No access gateway. Whenever you are using oracle.com, you pass the username and it is telling that no, it is not accessible from this network. What is the reason? Hmm? No, no internet challenge. What else? Why the connectivity failed from the regions or from the office to home itself? The reason why it is getting failed, as I said into the beginning only, this is a private cloud itself. When we have a private cloud, it means the network availability is available. Network availability is available only to the specific office network, specific office network, as well as when we try to log in, when we try to log in from home, it is not taking the valid VPN, due to which this access is blocked. Got it? When we see network in the backend, yeah, you can say it the IP, but in reality, it is not the IP. It is from which the official network is getting connected. On that basis, only this communication is going to be work. So when he went to the home, it doesn't work. It completely closed. So what happened? Now he completed his task 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. into the cloud. Now he find that there is an engineer in Costa Rica, a software developer. He logged in, let's say 5 p.m. He logged in 5 p.m. and he started working till 2 a.m. 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. That is the timings for them. Let's say for our 5 p.m. Let's say their morning time 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. 9 a.m. to sorry 5 p.m. He worked in, he again did the same thing. He left the task at some place and he thought that, okay, I will go and do some work at home. Again, for him also, the similar problem is the issue is network block. Network block. Same then the chain going on. It is went to Costa Rica to California, California to Europe, and Europe to Bay Area. So this whole chain, whatever they are working it is like completely blocked every place. So whenever a software engineer or software developer have to work, what exactly he have to do it? He have to come to the office location to access the cloud or to access the services within the Oracle itself. It actually preserve the product. In a reality, let's talk about first the advantages. When we do in such a kind of environment, the security thing is very high because for an example, if you are using a Wi-Fi at your home, that is more secure than the open Wi-Fi which you are using at the railways or airport. Yes or no? When you are in a home network, things will be more secure. There will be no risk of anything to getting hacked and all. Whereas when you are accessing public Wi-Fi or public internet, highly chances are that you are going to be hacked at that particular front. And in that particular scenario, you will be able to get the chances of hack or your data loss or money loss can be possible. So in this way, organization find that okay, we are at least secured. We are not going to see any data issues. We are not going to see any data loss. I'll come to that part also, how data loss can be impacted. So when engineers are working in this area or in this field, so what he have to do it, he will be an official uh, employee of that organization. He will be accessed through his ID card or whatever it is, or it can be a thumbprint, or it can be an iris validation. Generally in Oracle, it's a iris validation. By eyes, they validate. When you enter also, when you get a chance to work for Oracle, so they does not follow this ID card system. They follow either iris or they follow either thumbprint, which is very difficult to traceable. Okay, in the field of IT. So so they go into this particular thing and then they start doing the work over there once they get the nexus. Why they actually make this kind of a layer? Why exactly, how, what exactly then? Now you have to understand, when we talked about the public cloud, okay, you have to understand the data transfer. Okay, when data will transfer, let's assume one more thing before I'll come back to over here. Let's assume this is your source A, means your source, and this is your destination. What exactly you understand with the source and destination? What exactly it means? What do you understand by source? Hmm? Okay, source from where we start, and what is the destination? Right. So in a technical world, source is a place from where the data ingestion is starting. Source is the place in a technical world, place where the getting data is getting started. Okay, from where the data is getting started, generated or generating. Okay, destination is the place. Destination is the place where the data should go. Destination is the place where the data should go. Fine. Let's say in a case of source, I have a scenario, a bank application, a bank server. Bank server is there. Fine. Bank server have all the details to send the a very good example. Let's say month end is going to become. Now bank people or bank servers have the details of all the employee. Then in which particular employee the salary is going to be credited. So now what they will do, they will figure out a list and they will start making that okay, how many employees are there to whom salary is going to be credited. Let's say for the company called Google, they prepare a list. Okay. Once they will prepare a list, they will start releasing the amount. So this amount should go to where? This amount should go to employee account, and that is what? That is the destination. Again, understand, in our case, first you understand source is the place from where we start, destination is the place where it should reach, right? Now in this particular scenario, bank server is the source where he have to release the salary for each of the employee, and the end source is your employee account where the salary is going to be credited or amount is going to be reached. Now what exactly it is happen when bank server will initiate the amount at that front, what is going to be happen in between? There is a person called there is a person called man in middle. Man in middle. Man in middle. And this is a very famous term called man in middle attack. Now let's think of a scenario. If this is a public network, if this is a public network which is not very secure. This is a public network which is not very secure. When bank servers start an initiation, don't you think there is highly chances are there that this data or this network itself getting hacked before getting into the salary account? Still, if I found a loophole itself over there, a loophole over there, loophole hole over there. If loophole is there, I'm able to do it. I have no access on the front account front, no access or no chance to preserve it. So what is going to be happen in that scenario? Data loss or money loss is going to be happen. Money loss going to be happen. Again, understand this scenario. Sorry. Whenever we are talking about a source and destination, whenever we talked about source and destination, first thing you have to understand that whichever thing travel across the internet, that is your network. Whatever things reach to from one place to another place, that is a network. And here also one more thing which is we are going to talk about. When data started over here and reached to there, you might be not shared a password, you might be shared anything to anyone, but still this data is getting leaked. What is that? That is a cyber attack generally happen. And it is very common. You should be having a lot of web pages to read about what kind of attack is happened. Now in this scenario, when the data is getting transferred, there are highly chances of data loss going to be happen in a public network, and you could not cannot preserve it also. Now think of a scenario, you are using an application called WhatsApp itself. You are texting a message to one person to another person. You are using open internet, you are using Wi-Fi, that kind of things you are using it right now. Not fully secured. Fully secured means there is no mechanism is there to secure it. So in that chances, it is highly chances there that your account can be hacked. You can able to get the data loss going to happen. So in this particular scenario, it is the same scenario when you might have seen that okay, the without OTP, without con, the amount have been like taken out from the bank accounts. Possible. So what exactly it happened in that network level? In the network level, things can be differ. Okay. At the same front, at the same front, when data transfer, uh, have you ever think whenever we are transferring the data from one place to another place, means I'm sending a message to my mom in the morning. Good morning, ma. A message I have texted. Have you ever noticed that when you are texting a message in a form, in which particular form the data is going, or how data is actually traveling? Because it is a science, right? You have to understand this is a science. Without science, how things will work? Have you ever noticed, like, okay, when data is going on, how this data is actually going, how this message which I have just passed to my mom, how that message have reached, or in a which format? That basic terminology over here is that the data is go in a form of packets. Data is go into the form of packets. And on top of it, the data travels. Another concept over here is your protocols. Your protocols. And this protocol can be TCP, which you might have heard in your college days, Transmission Control Protocol, UDP, User Datagram Protocol, and TLS, Transmission Layer Secret Protocol. It is either a public network, either it is a private network, either it is whatever network it is there. The data can be transferred only on the basis of packets, and it can transfer on the basis of protocols. Fine. So whenever I'm sending a data over the public networks, so it can be go in this particular form, right? So if TCP is there, it is transmission control protocol. The data will go into the form of packet. UDPs means user data program protocol, where I don't worry about the data loss. For example, if I am sending a video, if it is went in a form of buffering form, I don't have an issue. But if I am sending a money, it is going in a form of thousand. I have sent thousand. It reads 900. So it is definitely a data loss or money loss happen. So I cannot use an option as UDP. I should be using TCP or TLS. TLS is purely secure version of the network where the network is very secure. Sorry. So the formulation of this complete data transfers happen on this particular point. But 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 when we see again public, things will be again difficult to protect at the organization level. You might be wondering, like, okay, why I'm very emphasizing towards at the organization level. You have to understand one thing, my students. When we talked about at the organization level, any product, the products are not cheaper. If one idea which is already working by one organization, if by mistaken that idea got leaked and that chance picked up by the competitor, and if he built that same application, a replica of that application, then definitely it's a loss of the company. Let's understand with very layman example. For an example, there is a common shop, a very like you are staying in a locality where 100 homes are there. You are, and you have your one Kiryana shop, okay, like your grocery shop is there, and you are very happy that okay, every day 100 peoples of homes are coming and you are making a good sale. Now you have to think of, suddenly there is one more shop open. There is suddenly one more grocery shop open. What will happen? The sale what you are, and that particular guy is very clever in talking. He's very like jolly kind of person, and you seeing that sale is going at that front. Your sale is started decrease. Now after few days, what happened? Again shop open, third shop open. Again you find that the sale is going. So that's the way how the competition works into the market in the field of business. Business, whenever you are dealing with the components. So same way, when something is going onto the network or something getting into the network, there are highly chances of leakage of data is going to be happen. So in that of the scenario only, organization find this approach. Some of the organization, not every organization. Why? Only some, that point we will talk. But first understand. So the first point over here is that they don't want any kind of a data loss. Data loss means now whatever they are connected with the office network only. Whenever data transfer is happening, they are happening with the office network. Apart from that, there is no data losses. There are very less chances is going to be data loss happen. It can be possible if someone from the internal organization only share the data, and that things also happen. You might be fine the cases very sooner or that, but possibilities are there. Someone if have got a hefty amount, like okay, you have to bring the code structure how the application have been done, we will pay you 1 CR. Generally it doesn't happen, but to be in a kind of a dramatic form. For an example, when data leaks happen, it happens generally, but no one knows how it happened. So let's assume that there's some that particular employee or person, and someone from the company, outside of the company or the competitor, ask him that okay, we are going to pay you this much hefty amount, you have to just bring me some data to me to show how things are working. An internal employee have the access for every product, every code, everything. So data loss can be very easy. So that's the reason in our organization also everything is trying to be kept secure. Your identity, your the way you are logging in, everything is monitored. There is nothing like that. It is an IT or it is an MNC or what. Everything is getting monitored. Whatever you are doing on the Chrome itself, that is also getting monitored for each every aspect. So you should be very cautious when you are using the office laptop. You should not access any websites which is not relevant to your work, which is not relevant related to the outside things. You should be cautious using this thing. Another part, like this company called Oracle have another point why they move to a private cloud. The first point is data loss, that we don't want any kind of a data loss and we want to preserve it. Another thing, Oracle state that okay, I don't trust any other company. I don't trust any other company. When I say I don't trust any other company, what it is mean? To using public cloud for him, AWS is also a company. For him, AWS is also a company. So what it is? It is an Amazon, right? Similarly, for him, Azure is also a company which is owned by Microsoft, right? Similarly, for GCP, it is Google Cloud. So now, if a company, big company like the same level, If the company like the same level, they're clearly saying that if I am going to put my things into these clouds, my data over there, highly chances are that tomorrow Google itself will be my competitor, right? In that scenario, in that instance, if I'm using a services of any of the cloud, AWS, Azure, and GCP, what is going to be happen in that scenario? Probably or possibly, highly chances are there the data which I'm keeping it from my cloud, it can be possible that AWS itself can read the data. Were you knowing it that whether it is reading or not? WhatsApp claim. Why I bring WhatsApp again and again? Because it is something which you are using right now. WhatsApp claim that we are not reading your data. We are not seeing what exactly the two-person is chatting end to end. We don't know. But in reality, does does the authorization or clarity WhatsApp will give that it is not possible to read? If it is not possible to read, so whenever there is a crime happen, how the chats can be leaked? Whenever some political issues happen, how that data is getting leaked? Though it is deleted from both of the phones, though it is not available over there, then how the data is recovered, how the backups happen. So you have to understand whichever it is getting showing it or what is actually uh, in front of you which is getting available, that is not the real thing. A real thing is something different. Every component have a backup, every application have a backup. So same thing, if Oracle as a big company, if going to use any cloud which is available into the market, can be the AWS, Azure, and GCP, if they use it, highly chances are there AWS is able to read the data or able to understand okay what exactly they are about to do it. AI is so much famous into the market. If they bring some a revolutionary product into the market, so whoever the customers will be there, they will go and purchase the product. But if something like Oracle, if use AWS and that data itself get leaked over there, and AWS build that product, so now the sale reach to where? It reach towards AWS instead of Oracle. That is the reason why many organizations move towards the private cloud due to the preservance of the data loss happen. That is the second point for the private cloud. Third, third one is don't want to share the data. Don't want to share the data. First is data loss. Second is don't trust any other company, and third is don't want to share the data. When we say about don't want to share the data, it is same like don't trust company. It means whenever I'm going to use a cloud infrastructure, definitely after using a service, I'm going to put my product into the application. See, you have to understand one thing how infrastructure works. One layer of infrastructure means whenever the services are getting accumulated. But cloud does not work on services. If services only will work in, then do you think that they are able to make huge money? I have created one, let's assume I have opened a shop, a tire, like a showroom, tire showroom. But just selling me a tire can give me a profit? The answer is no. Because only one thing is not going to give me a lot of profit. Until and unless in that showroom, I should be having an option of wheel balancing, okay, wheel setting it up, car services, car washing, auto spare parts. Until and unless I won't be having multiple services available over there, I'm not going to get benefit. I'm not able to make the money. So how actually they are using money? How they are using the services of cloud to make a money? If you create easy to instant, it won't make much a difference. If you keep it on, then it make a difference. For example, if you deployed an EC2 instance, which we are going to talk about, the service is the first service. You just deployed an EC2 instance and you are keeping it alone. It won't make major difference on that area. But once you start keeping it the service on for a longer period, then the charge accumulated. After that, the charge going to be added when you add any application into that EC2 instances or into the server. That way, how the cloud actually earn the money. What exactly means? For an example, if there is any application is there which you have deployed onto the server, after that there is a data process started. Means data going from source to end. You have to understand one thing very clearly. a very famous word called EPS. It is event per second. If a data is getting traveled, like one text message I have sent to the another user, how WhatsApp is earning? Think of a scenario how WhatsApp is earning. You are simply download the application. Do you really think they are earning with that downloading part? The answer is no. When the exchange happened, when the messages transferred happened, as an example, at that time the count of messages is calculated. Per messages there is a charge or renewable charge is there. That is called event. Generally, it is for WhatsApp scenario, it is message per second. But in a technical world, it is event per second. So companies want that okay, when the service have been used, virtual machine is getting used. Under that, I have an application is going to be used, and that application having a mechanism following the code logic. That is like okay, if I'll send a data 1000 EPS, 1000 messages per second, it means I am earning 10,000 rupees. Then customer came that boss, no, this is very slow. I cannot bear it. Increase it. Then you have to again fix from the code. Let's increase to 2,000, then 3,000, then 4,000, then 5,000. We have itself developed 2 lakh event per second. 2 lakh means it is huge data. Suddenly think of if you suddenly got 2 lakh rupees as in cash, or let's say as in 100 notes. This much big you will find. 100 notes I'm talking about, not the 500 note. Even 500 will be this much. 4. Yeah, this much. 100 will be more. So suddenly you will find that okay, this much cash. So think of customer require this much of data altogether. When the data transmission happen onto the cloud, it is giving you a privilege. Okay, you transfer the data. Here the amount building will start. And there you will see a bunch of money getting generated. That is the way the amount getting generated. You will be in a loop to again generate the money. If you are doing a recharge right now in a mobile phone, you have to every month have to recharge it. You are in a loop because you have to use the internet, you have to use the service which is provided by the Airtel provider or Geo provider, and whenever you are doing any actions at that front, you are performing few of the thing, right? So that way, how exactly? So that in that particular instance, when these things have happened, they generally don't want to share the data. They want to just store and protect. Clear? Private cloud. What exactly networks is there? Because network is very important. Whenever you are going to deploy a server or a EC2 instance, at that time, friend, whenever you are going to do an application, you should be knowing it, right? If you are downloading any file from the Google, when you're typing a command wget, like most of you completely Linux classes, when you're typing a wget and then you are passing an hyperlink, then what exactly it happened? Just I remember one question. Just tell me what exactly the answer of this one. For an example, you guys have just completed Linux part, so you should be knowing it. I have created one server. I have created one server that is for Rocky Linux. Okay, and that Rocky Linux is created. Now I want to access it. Okay, what exactly the protocol Linux is used, and what is the port it use? What is the protocol it is used? Okay, and what is the port it is used? Please raise your hand before letting me the answer. Those who know. What is the protocol getting used by the Linux and what is the port is getting used? People from the call, people from here. What exactly? We talked about a lot of networks. We talk a lot of about uh, data transfer. We talked about a lot of Donald. Very good. Just hold for a while. What exactly it is? What exactly the? Go ahead, Donald. You go first. What exactly the
We
protocol?
should know we should know the configuration of the server, means IP address, I think.
Okay, IP address you know. After that, what is the protocol and port you are going to use it for Linux? what is the protocol and port you should be having the Linux. You are doing the project, right? You are doing the assignment, everyone. People over here, people over here, there. After completing the class, you already spent 1 month in the Linux classes. But still you are not able to know what exactly the protocol you are using. Then how you are accessing? Which app, which tool you are using to access the Linux server? Which tool you guys are using? Why only Putin? Why not other? There's only Putty is the tool available into the market. How many tools are there into the market to access the server? Hmm? What else tools are there? Let's say if you are using Putty also. So see, this is the thing which you have to remember. You have to be active when you are doing a C. This is your Putty screen. Yes or no? The answer is at the screen only. If you see over here, what exactly it is showing? Host name and IP. So if I give an IP, let's say 10.2024.32.56, this is my IP. And when I want to access Linux, my port is getting used is 22. The answer is in front of you. And the connection, if I want the protocol connection is as an SSH. Linux follow the connection SSH protocol. On SSH only, you are trying to establish a communication, secure channel communication. So whenever now anyone asks you, whenever you are trying to access the Linux server, which protocol you use? So SSH is a protocol, you are using it, and which port? The port default port is getting used by Linux is 22. On which whenever now understand, see, understand with the technical friend, now understand, whenever I'm making a call 10 24 32 56 at server, what exactly it is happening? I am actually trying to reach to the port 22. I'm using this port. This port is available for me to connect over the internet. This port is available for me to connect over the internet or to the server. Anything which is available over the internet, which is getting connected, that is actually connected with the port availability. You might have heard in your, whenever if your Wi-Fi person have connected, so he will tell that point that okay sir, port connectivity having an issue. Port is not connected over there. Port, it means on which on which this network is getting, on which this network is going to be configured or clear or created. Fine, right? But is that voice is not clear? Better? Can someone confirm? Yes, no. Hello. Is the voice is clear now to everyone? Or still the issue you guys are seeing?
Yes, sir. Voice is very clear.
Clear, right? Okay, fine. Now, now, what exactly going to be happen? So, first thing, apart from just to touch upon because we just start this one. Before come to that, okay, this is about Linux. So, whenever you are using an IP in a backend, it is using a port 22. Please note down, or else you again forget that one. Whenever, just make it as a note quickly, make it as a small note. Whenever we are trying to access a Linux server, the protocol is getting used by the Linux server is SSH protocol. Whenever we are trying to access server, whenever we are trying to access Linux server, the protocol is getting used is SSH, and the port used is and the port used is 22, and the port used is 22. That is the default that is the default port that is the default port used by that is the default port used by Linux. Okay. Just one more thing I have noticed. Proceed further. You guys are directly. Many of you have started making me a call direct. Okay. See, I already told that my schedule is crazy. Okay. Difficult for me to pick up your calls and revert it back. Though I don't even revert on chats also very quickly. After reaching to home, this WhatsApp is managed by the team itself. Okay, they only take your queries. So whatever queries is there, please drop me over the text. Don't directly make a call. Okay, because I cannot answer your call every time. I have received multiple calls a week. Okay, though I was on another classes. So please try to put your queries, whatever issues are there, into the chat itself. Once I will be available over there, I will be checking your text, whatever things is there, and I will be responding back. Okay. But please don't directly make a call. Right? Now, now another thing is there, another part. Let's assume if Windows is there, Windows server or Windows you have used from your like school days, colleges, every time. Now you tell me, you only have to tell protocol Windows is using and what is the port is used by Windows to access it. You are using Windows from your childhood, from your college days, school days. Now you want to use and definitely in Windows also I will be having some IP. First thing you tell me, if I want to access Windows server, can I use this putty? Will work. If I want to access Windows server, Rupa, tell me. If we want to access Windows server and I want to access it from putty itself, can I able to access it? Sharon, right? Were you able to access it?
No,
Why no? Why you can't be able to access this? The person who said you can't access. Why you can't access?
because the port
Why
number has changed, right?
Hmm. So port number I can change it. If port number is there, I can change it. What is a port for Windows? That is the first question. I can make it anything, but what is the port of Windows? What is the port of Windows in
I
this
think what
scenario?
I think 135.
135. 135. No. Tell me guys, if you want to access this, the Windows server, something server at Windows front instead of Linux, you created a Windows server. Now you want to access it. What exactly the protocol port or what this will be helpful for me to access it? The answer is no. The answer is no. Why exactly? Because when we try to access a Windows server, that is actually accessible on the port. The first thing is the protocol, that is your RDP protocol, remote desktop protocol. That is actually getting used by remote desktop protocol. That is the first thing you have to remember it, which is actually used by the Windows. And then the default port, it is used by 3389. 3389. This is the default port and protocol used by Windows Server. Now think of a scenario if I'll come over here and I'll open a putty session where I am able to see anywhere the connection type telnet, SUDP or the RDP protocol. It is there. Even though if I can change a port over here 3389, I won't be able to connect because protocol is not itself there. So always remember, so Windows can be connected only with the form of with the protocol of this RDP protocol, and the port itself is 3389. And from the beginning, from the school days only, you itself have a way to connect to this to the system that is called remote desktop connection. Remote desktop connection. If I want to connect any server, I can connect directly from the system itself, and I will be passing the parameter of the server detail, and then it will look for some of the details over there. But again, when I go and use RDP, what is going to happen? Because that is also a Windows server. This is also a Windows server. Okay. In that particular front, what is going to be happen? One should be overlap to another. So I won't be want that particular thing. I don't want that particular thing. So in that particular scenario, what is going to be happen? We have some tools. We have some tool. Let's say mremote ng. Mremote ng. This particular tool will give me an option to connect to the server itself, whichever I want it, whichever server I want it. Let's say if it is a Windows, you can see the name it is asking. It is asking for the host name. Here we have to pass the host name, username, password we have to pass it. And it should be going and reaching to the protocol RDP, and the port is using 338. That way the communication is going to be working. Clear? Just add on because you should be having a clarity at this front. Clear? Any doubt till this part? What exactly the public? What is the difference between private? How it is getting access? What exactly Linux port and protocol? What exactly the Windows port and protocol which you are going to use it? Now there is another cloud called it as hybrid cloud. There is another called there is another cloud called it as hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud. What do you understand by hybrid cloud? What exactly, as per your understanding, what exactly it is? Hybrid cloud.
Combination of private cloud and public cloud.
Combination of private cloud and public cloud. Okay. What else? What else? What do you think apart from this? What exactly is the cloud hybrid cloud difference? What exactly it is the difference? Hybrid cloud. When already public and private is available, then why there is a need of hybrid cloud came in? What was the major perspective behind it? Hmm? And if it is already a different identity itself, public is a different identity, private is a different identity, then why this hybrid came into the picture? What is the reason behind it? Two? No. See, you have to understand one thing. Whenever we talked about the hybrid mechanism, whenever we talked about the hybrid formulation, okay, so it does not always mean that it is a cloud perspective one. Let's see with the best example. So, so let's say a scenario. There is a cloud called Azure cloud. There is a cloud called Azure cloud. Fine. Now I want to make a combination or a communication of this Azure cloud with my office network. With my office network. Office network. Now this is public cloud, which we'll talked about. And when we talked about office network, what kind of a network it is? Private. Private network. Private network. So if I want to communicate now public to private cloud, a public to private network, whether it is possible or not. If I want to make public to private communication, like public cloud is there, and private network is there. Now I want to make a communication where it is possible or not. What do you think? What do you think? Lalit, what do you think? Is this going to be work in this scenario or not? What that communication which is working from public cloud is there and private cloud is there, whether that is going to be work or not? How this communication will work or not? In the last with Charan, what is going to be happen? It will work or not? This communication, when we want to try to make it from public to private network, whether they both able to interact or not? The answer is yes, it is possible. That is the reason we say hybrid cloud means it works from public to private communication. But you might definitely have a question in your mind that okay, sir, you are telling on the DevOps class it is possible, but in a different way it is possible, or it is not possible at all. The answer is when we talked about hybrid cloud, when we talked about the connectivity part, so what exactly happened? When it is coming from the office network or private IP, there is some IP from the office network. Let's say 10.31.41.24. From Azure cloud also, there is some IPs coming, right? Everything works on IP. So let's say 10 dot, or we should not be 10, we should put 53.43.21.67. This is the IP. Now, when I directly try to interact both of them, what exactly is going to be happen in this scenario? This will actually won't work. This is going to be fail. I cannot. Okay, this is actually going to be fail. This communication will fail. It means the public and private communication got failed over here. But still, I want to make it work. Still, I want to communicate this communication of two networks. In that particular scenario, the communication or the concept came into the picture called NAT gateway. I will explain this concept in very detail when we talked about NAT gateway into security groups of AWS. But as of now, just to make you understand, we will be using NAT gateway over here using elastic IP concept. Using elastic IP concept where we will be whitelisting the listening the IP itself of IP itself of private network. What exactly we are going to do it? This particular IP, only this particular IP. When you are working in a lab, VMware lab or any lab, there are thousands IPs are there. So this particular lab which will be there, we will be whitelist this IP to make all the ports open only for this particular IP, and we will treat this IP as an public IP itself. Okay. This particular IP which is available over there, it is now going to communicate with this public IP as an public sector itself. Once this is whitelisting, it means now it is directly getting whatever services coming from the Azure cloud itself and reaching to the private network. Then you definitely have a question that okay, why we actually need to do it this thing? We can go directly and create a EC2 instance into the AWS itself. The reason why, when we go into EC2 instance concept, at that time there is a categorization of servers will happen. Now, when you are moving to on something new, you cannot remove the older one. So, for example, there is an application which required 36 GB RAM. You definitely don't want to create a server of 36 GB RAM into cloud because it will also add on cost, right? So, what I will do over here, I will create a server of my application which is required over here only with the RAM in my product. So, now what will happen? Whichever application is there in this VMware lab, it can easily connect to this one wherever it is difficult from this cloud to this one. Yes or no? To connecting from 10 to 31 to 4124 to internal server, let's say I'll just give it as a number as an 10 dot 10.91.34.56. So this is an internal IP or internal server. I can directly make a communication. I can directly able to communicate it. Wherever, if I'll go from Azure cloud trying to make a communication to this particular IP, what is going to be happen? This communication will fail because there is no NAT gateway, there is no whitelisting IP, there is no elastic IP. On top of it, I am putting each individual at the risk if I enable the ports for all of this system. So always remember, my students, whenever you are making a communication, it should be with one specific IP, one server. From there, you will be opening the path. Let's say, for example, you want to go to Chikmagalur. Heard it about Chikmagalur place? You want to go to Chikmagalur, so you have to go through the nice road or any other way you have to pick it up. So there is a way have been defined. There is a national highway have been defined. From there, the multiple locations have been opened. You want to go to Chikmagalur, Shakleshpur, anywhere, wherever you want to go, multiple ways have been government. But government is not again going to create a new road for you because ways are already there. So in this scenario also, I'm not going to create again and again servers into the cloud. I'm not going to create again and again multiple services into the places. I will be using existing one, but I will use the NAT gateway. I will show you also when we talked about NAT gateway, how exactly that works and how private communication works with the public one in a very detailed format just to make you understand. So here, why I take Azure as an example, because Azure give a better compatibility because of Windows migration or Windows components over there. That is the reason it works. Fine. So this is your public, private, and hybrid clouds, which is available into the market. Pretty much fine. Virtualization we already talked. Tomorrow we will be starting elastic compute. Okay. We will be see what is elastic compute, how many types of elastic computes are there, what are the generations are there. There are around 10 or 11 type of EC2 instance types are there, which you have to understand. Once you're done with EC2 instance, we will move to VPN. Then we will go ahead and see about networking, security groups, NSCL firewalls. Then we move to storage S3. Then we will be moving to load balancer. Then we will move to databases. Then we will move to Route 53. Then we will move to SQS and DLQ. Then we will move to some other IAM, and then we will move some other concept which will be remain. So from tomorrow, the class will be little bit more advanced. Please carry your laptops. We will be doing the hands-ons also all together. So your mind will be there at the concept level also. And we can try any scenario, right? We can try any scenario because I assume that some of you now understanding. Okay. For you, if Linux is a problem, not an issue. Command I will be passing it over here into the class itself. Fine. Any further doubts to anyone? People over here, people over the class, over the online class. Any doubts? Fine. We are done for today. We'll see tomorrow rest of the things.